Hello, hello, hello. I'm Kathy Mazak, and I'm coming to you live today as part of a series I'm going to do this week. So, we're going to do 5 days of lives all about the key decisions you need to make pre-tenure. And there's one that's really timely, and that's what we're talking about today. So, because of COVID, a lot of people at their universities, not everyone, but many universities are offering a year-long extension to the pre-tenure timeline. Okay, so I want to talk about three major things to think about if you're considering whether you should take the timeline or the time extension or not. So again, I'm Kathy Mazak. Hello, I'm an academic writing coach. If you're watching me inside of the I Should Be Writing Facebook group, hi everybody. If you're not, you should come over and join. And if you're watching live, please let me know where you're joining from. If you're watching the replay, which will stay available here on my page and also in the group, go ahead and drop me a hashtag team replay. I can only see your comments if you're actually commenting on the video that's on my page, not the one in the group. I'll go back and check those later. So today we're talking about, should you take that extension? Okay, I'm talking to my pre-tenure peeps today. So some universities are offering an extension to the tenure clock. And the clients that we work with inside our Amplify program, which is a year-long pre-tenure support program, have felt two ways about this. Okay, so there's a group of people who feel like, whew, I'm going to take that extension because they don't really feel ready. Their book's in process of they're still in the process of getting a book contract. They need a little more time. And for example, that's one person I'm thinking of specifically. And so, they think, all right, I'm going to take that extra year that's being offered. Okay, so that's one kind of thought that like, oh, I really need that extra time because let's face it, like COVID has screwed everybody up. And so nobody on earth is having the year they thought they were going to have. Okay, so it makes sense to take an extension if your productivity has really taken a hit because of COVID. And like, there's 1,000 reasons why your productivity could have taken a hit because of COVID. All of them are valid. And so some people are thinking, okay, yes, I took a hit. I'm going to take the extension. There's another camp of people who are thinking like, oh my gosh, I cannot spend another year with this pre-tenure stress. I'm not taking the extra year. Mostly because of that feeling, like not necessarily a feeling that they're ready, feeling that they're ready enough and they don't want to delay getting tenure more. So today I want to talk about things that you need to consider for yourself as you're making this decision. Okay, so one thing that you need to consider is that idea of the extra stress. Okay, so you need to weigh for yourself, is it going to help me feel less stressed to take the year? Or is it going to actually make me more stressed because it's delaying the tenure decision and the going up process and all of the submission of the dossier and all of that? So think about that. Depending where you are in your timeline, going up for tenure, it might, you might feel different levels of stress, right? Those people who are like imminently submitting the dossier might feel like, I'm ready. It's more stress to wait. Whereas people earlier might feel like, well, I better take this year just in case. And we're going to talk about the institutional side of this decision in a minute. All right. So there's that. There's the stress. There's the stress level, definitely. The other thing to think about is actually the monetary compensation and job security level, right? So there's there's potentially a raise, right? And that you are delaying a raise, and that has like a ripple effect over the course of your career. For example, if you're in a traditional retirement program, like you have a pension and it's calculated somehow over the, your some percentage of an average of your salary, you're actually potentially losing pension by taking the extra year and delaying the tenure decision. Actually, you could be, like losing money in your pockets that it would be really nice to have right now during a pandemic by delaying the tenure decision. So you have to consider your own stress and also that monetary thing that you need to weigh for yourself and your family, and then also the security that tenure gets you or doesn't, right? Another thing to think about would be, do you want to delay a year because right now there's job freezes, right? And so one strategy might be, I'm going to delay because I'm betting on the fact that in a year there will be unfrozen positions and I'm going to go on the market so that I have a competing offer when I get offered tenure at my university. Okay? That's another strategy that you might, think about. I'm just trying to give you lots of things to consider. But here's something that I'm worried about. Okay? And so I want you to do some investigation, all right, about this. So the third thing I want you to think about is, what is the landscape of your department and your university? Most specifically your department. So I was on a call with a potential Amplify client the other day, and she said that her university was being unclear as to like whether they would get an extra year and they would expect extra productivity, or whether they would just kind of count you as having a non-productive year. So think about that for a minute. That's scary. How are you going to be evaluated for tenure compared to other people? So if people didn't take the year and then go up, are they going to get more favorably looked at than you who did take the year and went up? Are you going to be is that extra year, are they expecting productivity from the year delay? They shouldn't, but that doesn't mean they won't. So you want to get very clear. You really want to have, as much as you can, an open discussion with your chair about whether taking an extra year is good for you. Okay? If you're having a hard time making the decision, and I would say I would let the decision be guided more by your feelings of how stressful it would be to take the year or not. And then also secondarily, this is how I would make this decision. Secondarily, I would consider the financial gain or loss of taking that extra year or not. So those are the two things I would think about. And then I would just make sure, the third thing is really to read the department, read the room at your own university. Does it look like there is impending doom at your university, and so you really want to get tenure before the doom happens? Are they going to freeze tenure decisions? But the most important thing I think is really to ask hard questions about, how am I going to be evaluated against candidates who took the year or didn't take the year? And one of the things that's happening in some places, they're kind of like giving everybody the year, but not everybody's taking it off, like from production, right? Like, so some people need the year because they don't have childcare, and so they're just barely making it happen with their online classes. And then other people don't have that problem. They're getting the year and they're using it they're using it almost like, like a extra time to put out more pubs. So you need to figure out what's going on within your department, the peers at your university, and try to get as much as possible in writing direct answers. And I know this is really hard to do, but try to get direct answers about how taking that year might affect you. It shouldn't affect you. It should be if it's a true taking the year. Hi, Lori. If it's a true taking the year, it shouldn't affect you. It should be just as if you took maternity leave or anything else. Okay, Lori asks, what if you don't trust your chair? Hello, old friend. Lori is one of my friends from high school. So if you don't trust your chair, I would talk to senior members of the department that you do trust and any other higher ups above your chair that who you do trust. And so that could be the dean that's above your chair. It could be the dean of research. It could, it could be if you have like a dean of faculty affairs. I would look for a higher up person if you don't trust your chair. We know that chairs are not always reliable, and sometimes they tell you one thing and other people something else, right? So I would look to see if there's an admin person that you could have a conversation with. I would talk to senior members of the department that you do trust, or just other members of the department that you trust, to see if they're wrestling with that same decision. What are they considering? How are they, reading the room about what's going on? Unfortunately, I think like if COVID wasn't stressful enough for like a gazillion reasons, it is so stressful in this respect, right? So, you get that tenure track job, and then you're like, I'm good. I'm going to do the tenure process. I'm cool. Then COVID, then like wrench in everything, and lots of things are up in the air. And I will tell you that some universities are actually, like, I feel like it's rare, but there's some universities who are being supportive. They're making logical decisions. They're communicating with their faculty, but a lot of universities are not. And that is part of the super stressfulness of this historical moment, which is like, we don't know what's going on and everything keeps changing at the last minute. We're saying one thing to students, we're saying a different thing to faculty, all of that is going on. So I would say, the more that you can use any resources you have on campus in terms of people who you want, who you trust, having those conversations with those people. So that's a great question. All right. So for the rest of the week, I'm also going to be going live every day at 2:30, except for tomorrow. I will be going live at 1:30 because I have an appointment at 2:30. So let me tell you, actually, though, the topics I'm going to be talking about. So where's my list of topics? Here they are. Okay, so on Tuesday, which is tomorrow at 1:30, I'm going to be talking about the one thing that is the actual work pre-tenure. I'm going to boil it down to one thing, which is the biggest job that you have that is the work of the pre-tenure experience. That's tomorrow at 1:30. Then when I'm talking in Eastern Standard, I'm talking about Eastern time, East Coast of the US time. On Wednesday at 2:30, I'm going to talk about how playing small pre-tenure can backfire. So there's this idea that you need to kind of like fly under the radar, be quiet, like don't say too much. I'm going to talk a little bit about how that can backfire in your pre-tenure life. On Thursday at 2:30, I'm going to be talking about how many publications are enough and how you find that out. So how many publications are enough to get tenure and also how you find that out. And then Friday at 2:30, I'm going to be talking about how to get access to our invitation-only Power Pipeline training. So I'm doing a special training for people who are pre-tenure, so they're in TT lines pre-tenure. I'm going to do a special pipeline training. I'm calling it the Power Pipeline training. And I'm going to tell you how you can get a special invite to that, which is an invite-only training. I'll tell you all about that on Friday. So I do want to let you know that our Amplify program, which is a pre-tenure faculty writing accelerator program, it's a year-long program. It is open for enrollment. And I put inside the group, at least, I'll have to put it on the page, I put the application to enroll. So you can go ahead and fill out that application. And then we will get you all the information you need about the program. If the program isn't a good fit for you, we'll tell you which program is. And other programs that are up for enrollment really are actually all of them. So until tomorrow night, the Navigate Writing Roadmap program is open to for enrollment. We opened the window because there were people asking about it after we had the big launch in May. So there is some time to get into that program still. And I'll drop all these links later. And then our Momentum co-writing program is open for enrollment. That's our $27 a month co-writing program where we have dates to go on Zoom and write together. And then we are getting ready for our Elevate, our next Elevate cohort. Elevate is our post-tenure program. It's a 6-month program. We just started a cohort in July, and our next cohort is in February. But when you join Elevate, you get access to all the programs. All the programs. It's like you unleash an all access pass. So if you were ready to join Elevate for February, we would get you started now. You could enroll now, hold your spot for February. There's only 10 spots in that program. And we would give you a curriculum of things to do before then. And you would get a free one-on-one call with me. And those don't happen a lot. So anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Tomorrow at 1:30, I'll see you here talking about the one thing that is actually the work of pre-tenure. Have a great day. Bye.